The following is a presentation that will be delivered to the Theodore Roosevelt Association in Oyster Bay, New York. Theodore Roosevelt was the most dynamic, the most athletic, and quite possibly the most consequential of all presidents. But did you know just how tough Theodore Roosevelt was? The argument that proves the tough character that Theodore Roosevelt embodied has to do when he escaped an attempt on his life in Milwaukee in 1912 following his nomination. The attempt on the life of President-elect Roosevelt recalled tonight that former President Theodore Roosevelt was once wounded by an insane person in an attempted assassination. The shooting of former President Roosevelt occurred on October 14, 1912, when he came to make a speech in this city following his nomination for president by the Progressive Party. The former president recuperated in a Chicago hospital. News of the attempted assassination of Colonel Roosevelt shocked the nation. The news was received with consternation tonight by the distinguished guests at the flag-draped table in the grand ballroom of Hotel Astor, where the official dinner was being tendered to President Taft and members of his cabinet. And it was conveyed to the President Taft to a reporter after the management of the hotel had endeavored in every way possible to obstruct any type of channel of communication with the president. If an attempt has been made upon the life of Mr. Roosevelt, declared the president, every citizen of our country will deplore the attempt. I am delighted to learn that the dastardly attack was unsuccessful and that Colonel Roosevelt has escaped uninjured. Resort to physical violence is out of place in our 20th century civilization and under our form of government. I'm firmly convinced that the unfortunate wretch who has been guilty of this attack is mentally irresponsible. I congratulate Colonel Roosevelt and the American people that the assassin's bullet went wild and that the president's life of our country has not been sacrificed. I can make no detailed comment at this time. I'm not familiar with the circumstances surrounding this outrage and therefore must decline to express any sentiment other than my unqualified condemnation of the deed and the mistaken motives which inspired it. Governor Wilson was at his home at Princeton, New Jersey, when newspaper men advised him of the attempt to kill the progressive candidate for president. It is with the greatest distress that I bear this, said Governor Wilson, but I rejoice that Colonel Roosevelt has apparently escaped any serious injury. Colonel Roosevelt shot, maybe badly wounded, but his life was probably saved by a manuscript of the speech he delivered, which retarded its force as it passed through it into the flesh. Mr. Roosevelt had just stepped into an automobile when the would-be assassin pushed his way through the crowd in the street and fired. When the shot was fired, even before the crowd knew what had happened, a 6-foot-tall former football player borne the assassin to the ground. The crowd outside the hotel started to yell, "Lynch him! Kill him!" But Roosevelt intervened and told them to stop and stand back. Don't hurt him. He then assured the crowd that he was not hurt. Roosevelt looked at his bloody fingers and said, "It looks like I've been hit, but I don't think it's anything serious." He insisted that he was bound to deliver his speech or die, one or the other. The people in the auditorium were told that Colonel Roosevelt had been shot, but he was not badly hurt. Several times he seemed to be growing weak while delivering the speech, but he motioned to the members of his party to sit down and let him finish. And after making himself heard and having talked for more than an hour, he was rushed to his automobile, taken to the emergency hospital. The operating room was made ready and awaiting with 6 of the leading surgeons of Milwaukee. Upon examination, he was wounded in his right breast. He was sent to get an x-ray, and while waiting on the operating table, he talked politics and joked with the physicians. Meanwhile, in an inner room at the police station, the assassin was being examined. It was discovered that he had studied Roosevelt's itinerary carefully with the intention to accomplish what he had in mind. He may have had an accomplice. A note discovered on his body revealed his intentions. Let it be the right and duty of every citizen to forcibly remove a third-termer. Never let a third-termer party emblem appear on the official ballot.